The Armada is Nissan's flagship model. It's a big body-on-frame, 3-row SUV with traditional 4-wheel drive. And for 2025, it's been completely redesigned, especially on the inside, and a brand new powertrain that replaces the V8 engine. How good is it? Let's find out. The Armada is now in its 3rd generation. It's been out since the 2004 model year. In its 2nd generation, it really didn't change much. Now, from top to bottom, inside and out, this feels like a completely new SUV, and it's for the better. What I like most about the Armada's front are these LEDs. It looks like a big giant number 3 when the turn signal is on. Really crisp headlights, really just nice integration of all the sensors. If the Titan was being continued, and of course it's not, this is the face it would wear. On the Platinum Reserve is a lot more chrome, on the Chrome 4X, a lot darker trim, including red Nissan badges. So it's a nice looking face. How familiar is the Armada? Well, the general size in terms of height, length, width does not change. It is just as absolutely humongous as before. And on this trim, it's the Platinum Reserve, you're getting 22-inch wheels, where the standard models have 18 or 20. There's also a brand new Pro 4X trim. Like other Nissan trucks, it upgrades the tires, you get some red badging, you also get a locking rear diff. But every Armada comes with air suspension. That's what really makes it nice. Drop it down when you're parked, raise it when you're going off-road, it adjusts it automatically. Just like a Range Rover, that type of technology is really coming along. You can identify this as an Armada because of the big side doors. They're very flat, a lot of windows, a lot of glass. It's really cool, I think, just because it's a traditional 4x4. It's not trying to be really like a smooth, streamlined type of truck that you see these days. This is a true 4x4, and it looks tough inside and out. Nissan cleaned up the design back here. The bumper no longer protrudes and it's not as bulbous and oversized as it was. It's still large and there's still 9.6 inches of ground clearance and a little bit more if you jack up the air suspension. That is really nice on the Platinum Reserve trim. Back here, I do like the light strip that connects the two taillights. It looks more like a GMC Yukon from some angles, but overall it's a handsome look. The new Armada has more cargo space than before, 20 cubic feet behind the 3rd row. When they power down, 56 cubic feet, and when these 2nd row seats manually tilt, you get 97 in total. Another nice feature, other than the power outlet on the other side, these buttons. You can raise or lower the air suspension to assist in loading cargo. The V8 engine is gone for 2025. In its place, a twin-turbo V6, making more power and torque. 425 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. Now it's 2-wheel drive to start, that's a rear-wheel drive configuration, and 4-wheel drive is optional on all trims. The Pro 4X is brand new for 2025, and that also includes a locking rear differential, so you can add that to your list of 4x4 hardware. Now fuel economy, not really any better than the previous generation. You can see those numbers. They're in the high teens on this trim, slightly less on the Pro 4X, a little bit more on 2-wheel drive models, and towing is still about the same, pretty high, 8,500 pounds. I miss the sound of that big V8, I really do. But with 2 more gears and 2 fewer cylinders, I'm impressed by the way the Armada drives. It's more refined. As nice as that V8 is, this is a little silkier. It's certainly quieter. Although, if you like V8 exhaust notes like I do, you might miss it. I don't miss the way the old Armada, though, used to steer. It felt more like a really big lumbering truck, which is not surprising. But the way the market has moved, the way engineering has advanced over the last decade, and the Armada really hadn't changed much during that time at all. This one drives like it's much smaller. Steering is so much more accurate off-center. So any little movement, I feel those wheels turning a lot better. And while the ride can be a little rough sometimes, because again, it's a huge vehicle, it's a heavy-duty suspension, but it's double wishbone on all corners. And not only does it help with extra cargo space, it does help with a ride that's more controllable, especially over some rougher surfaces. If I didn't look at the Nissan badge here on the steering wheel, I would think I'm in a luxury car. It really is. Take any of them. This is very quiet, the seats are plush. Of course, not all the accommodations in here are up to, say, what a BMW X7 might be, but then you'd be paying even more money for it. So it's Pretty impressive for what you get. And new for 2025 is Pro Pilot Assist version 2.1. It's another way of saying hands-free. If you're on certain marked highways, it will let you drive that way. Nissan has introduced that across a number of its models, including the Rogue. You can see that review. But from Rogue to Armada, it's the same system and it works pretty well. But when you're automatically changing lanes, it's not really automatic. It says it is, but you have to keep controlling the wheel and then you take your hands back off. So you really have to pay a lot more attention than you might think you should, which is why all these systems, to be honest, probably should not be allowed on the road. There's 8 different driving modes on the Armada. It looks like a whole pictogram soup here on the dash. Just like Land Rover's terrain response system, it will adjust the torque, split, and all the other settings for you, especially for off-road use, because that still is where the Armada is geared. But to be honest, most of these, like most luxury trucks at this price, no one's taking them off-road, especially not with the fixed side steps on this truck. So it certainly is capable, because overseas, Nissan sells this truck as the Patrol, same truck, but you'll see it bombing through desert dunes, all that type of stuff. That's what this truck can do. So versus a regular family crossover, this one has the heavy-duty bones to tackle more abuse, more towing, more loads at all time. So that's why they really tend to last a long time. Very durable. But despite those driving modes, I'm just keeping it in normal. And there are paddle shifters, which is also helpful, really for just decelerating down hills, keeping yourself in control. And there's also a towing adjustment here too. That's right here, just like in pickup trucks. So you can adjust the trailer braking at any time, because the Armada is really built to do all of those things. Hauling 8 people, tons of cargo, and a lot of weight out the back. But when you're just driving solo, it's an enjoyable vehicle. It is. There's adaptive dampers on the Platinum Reserve and 4-corner air suspension. It automatically adjusts the height as you're driving, so at highway speeds it'll lower for a little extra aerodynamics. But it's pleasant inside the Armada. There's not a lot of head toss, and it's just amazing to me how well engineered these big truck platforms have become. They just don't drive like giant trucks anymore until you try to corner at a higher rate of speed. And even though Nissan has trace control, which is a form of brake-based torque vectoring, I wouldn't recommend doing it in the Armada. And the Armada just doesn't roll all that much. Surprisingly, you can really hammer it through a turn if you want to. Stays in control the entire time, not leaning, not losing grip. The brakes probably should be a bit larger, but for everyday driving, if you're not towing constantly, you won't have to replace them that much. And the feel and the stopping performance is pretty good. The Armada has 8-way power, heated, cooled, massage front seats. They're really comfortable, nice textures. On the Platinum Reserve, it's pretty nice for what you get. Nissan puts a lot of detail into the Armada's top trim. There's double color stitching on the steering wheel and these quilted diamond seats. There's padded leatherette all over the dash, real wood trim, nice metal. Really, it's a high quality interior for $86,000, and it's a bargain next to the QX80. I prefer the Armada's sliding drawer that with one movement covers the wireless charger and the cup holders, and even though there's no fridge, it's actually a little bit roomier in here. And the center stack layout is a lot easier to use when you're driving. What's most unique about the second row, it's not the heated seats, it's not the adjustments, it's not the third zone climate, it's biometric cooling. Nissan is using an infrared camera right up there, and it monitors the heat temperature of the passengers back here and will automatically put more cool air if it senses anyone is getting too hot. That's pretty cool. The back of the Armada is pretty roomy for 2 adults. For 3, most likely not. But there's power reclining seats here, which operate nice and quickly. There's USB-C ports on both sides and 4 cup holders. Dual 14.3-inch screens come standard on upper trims. The lower ones, the SV and SL, they make do with 12.3s, but they basically look the same. And you can control it also with a thumb wheel on the right side of the steering wheel. That's nice when you want to cycle through the cameras, which are also new and improved. 360-degree views. plus an off-road mode that will actually show you basically the image underneath as you're driving. Land Rover has that, and this is definitely useful. I think especially useful for car washes and anywhere you just don't want to damage the truck, which is pretty much all the time because it's so big. But these cameras are excellent. But what's really nice is that there's manual controls and toggle switches for the fan speed, heated seats, the driving modes, all of the four-wheel drive controls. That is really, really nice. And some other manufacturers, particularly Infiniti, have gone all digital in this area. This looks really nice, really upscale. Other features include native Google Maps, Google Assistant, but what I particularly like is the dash camera. I don't like it operating all the time because you can have it do that. But for instance, if there's an instance that happens, say you get hit or someone comes near your truck when you're parked and they just look a little suspicious, well, you can have the Armada record it. You can also monitor all of this from your phone. So that's pretty cool. It also has an inside camera, so it'll do the exact same thing for anyone who's possibly inside or if you've left anything in there. So useful features, all available with Nissan's remote app. The digital instrument panel also has a lot of functionality. You can see the height of the air suspension and adjust everything here from the steering wheel, including a ton of settings, lots of driver assistance, including ProPilot Assist 2.1, which will self-steer the truck. Just a lot of great features on here. And it's super easy to use, and it's really clear. I like that. There's 3 different design themes, and you can cycle through those too. And you can make these maps a little bigger too, and they display here. So that's pretty nice. It's a really full-featured system. The 2025 Nissan Armada starts around $57,000. There are 5 trims. As tested with Destination, $86,000. That's at the highest end. And competitors are the Ford Expedition, Chevrolet Tahoe, GMC Yukon, and if you want to shop at this price, cars like the Infiniti QX80 and maybe the BMW X7. Just a few years ago, if you had told me you were spending 90 grand on a Nissan Armada, I would have said that's absolutely ridiculous. But these days, any full-size SUV with this level of luxury and amenities and performance, it costs way more. So the Armada in this Platinum Reserve trim is actually a really good value no matter which vehicle you stack it up against. The styling is fresh, but it's familiar. This is a truck that's always looked good, and now it's offering more performance and luxury that it really needs, especially to justify at this price. And what do you think? We have tons of SUV reviews on CarGurus, plenty of SUVs to shop on CarGurus.com, so subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.